And welcome to the Pro League Hype Show with me, your host Giles Thomas, here at the On The Rise Media Studio. And we're joined for this Olympia special with Dan Solomon, C.O.O. of the Olympia. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Giles, it's good to be with you guys. Of course, as excited as we are to be here, finally Olympia week has arrived. We are disappointed that you will not be with us this year. I know you're always a big part of the Olympia week, and we always love welcoming you and all your high energy and to the event. But we're going to try to plow through, and we appreciate the coverage.
Dan, I've been crying over because I've got all my press passes here, ranging all the way back to 2002. So, I mean, I've been I was desperate to get another one added to the collection, but sadly I won't be able to get there this year. But I will be doing live commentary on the live stream and everything, so I'll be providing plenty of online coverage. So, but you've actually beat me to it, didn't you? Because I think your first Olympia was in 1998, wasn't it, in New York?
98 was the first one for me, New York City. That was the final time it was in a place other than Las Vegas until this year, where, of course, we are set to put on this 6-day production in Orlando, Florida, which has turned out to be a really nice home for the event. The Orange County Convention Center and the Hyatt Regency Orlando, they've just been really wonderfully welcoming and accommodating and trying to do all the right things. We have a lot of safety measures in place. Everybody's wearing their face masks, and we're just trying to do the right thing to get through this week and give these athletes a chance to compete for the most prestigious title in the world. And so far, we're off and running.
So what's the new venue like? Are you happy with it?
I am. We have it's a really nice situation because there's always sort of been a fantasy in the world of the Olympia, dating back to the days when the event was in the Mandalay Bay. We wanted to be able to create a very convenient environment for fans, have everything connected, create a situation where people don't have to get in and out of cars and cabs and Ubers. And we've basically created that. The convention center is attached to the hotel. All of the components of the weekend are within that space. And it's not just a convenient environment, but it's also a beautiful one. The hotel is gorgeous. It's one of those real resort style Florida vacation type spots where the pool out back is loaded with waterfalls and lazy rivers. And the best part about it is the weather's actually almost swimming pool weather. It's warm outside. So it's middle of December, but it's Florida tropical temperatures. And then of course, then you go across this sort of bridge that connects to the convention center. And inside the convention center, there are, beautiful theaters and ballrooms that we're using for all the different parts of the event. So far we're very pleased. Of course, the events haven't happened yet, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but Tamer, our producer, and Kaden and Martine and Angelica and Sophia and Heather and our whole crew have just been working, and Tim have just been working really nonstop, and we're close.
It's been an interesting year, isn't it, with obviously all the COVID situation, and I think people are just really happy that the Olympia. I mean, I don't think anyone would have blamed you if you'd have said, guys, it's just just going to be too impossible to put on any sort of Olympia. But I think it's a real credit to you and your team, Dan, that you've actually managed to pull this together. And I know that I can't imagine. I remember when I heard about the venue change a few weeks ago, I was thinking, I can't imagine, the kind of late night phone calls and the decisions that were made, kind of around the table to kind of make this happen.
Yeah, the credit largely goes to Jake. Of course, Jake Wood, the gentleman who acquired this earlier this year. And, the philosophy, Jake's philosophy, all of our philosophies has been, everybody's got a different comfort level. Some people are, in situations where they have to be more careful about, surrounding themselves by larger crowds and so forth. And we totally respect that. And our feeling has been, we wanted to put on an event and give people the option to make that choice for themselves. Many people have chosen not to attend for perfectly good, logical reasons. And a lot of people feel like they wouldn't miss this for the world. There's athletes that feel like this is something that has to happen. And we just felt like we wanted to do the best that we could to put on as safe an event as we could within our power and our ability. But ultimately the choice is up to the athlete. It's up to the spectator. It's up to the judge. It's up to the official, the media member. Everybody has to make their own individual choices as to whether or not this is something that they're comfortable with. And we're just trying to do our part to make the event happen, and then everybody can make their individual choices as to whether they want to be a part of this experience. But we can tell you this, those people who are here, those people who have traveled to be a part of the 2020 Olympia, we're just giving it everything we have to make sure that it is an experience that kind of lives up to that Olympia standard. And like I said, Jake deserves a lot of credit because just to kind of give you some perspective, not only are we putting on this event, but we're giving out more prize money than has ever been given out in the history of the event. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, that blows my mind. That blows my mind.
It's mind-blowing because like you just said and everybody else said, it would have been perfectly reasonable for Jake to cut the prize money in half and nobody would have blamed him.
100%.
But he didn't do that because he wants to make sure that the athletes get every opportunity to finish the year off on a high note. And that's just a testament to Jake and his leadership and his approach to all this.
I mean, obviously you managed to pull this thing together, against all the odds. I mean, you must be feeling good for the sort of future years, because it's just going to be so much easier next year and any year after that, isn't it? Surely.
I'm almost careful to comment on that because last year when we had an event that included a whole bunch of unique circumstances, we had a complete staff turnover. Mm-hmm. We had our reigning champion got into some trouble; he couldn't compete.
Yes.
There was lots of things last year and a lot of big name athletes last year that couldn't do the show for a variety of reasons. So we kind of felt like last year was going to be the year where we said, if we can get through that, we'd be fine. But then we got to this year and then we were acquired. So we had a whole new ownership group.
Yes.
Then we moved the event to a new venue. And then with 4 weeks to go, we were forced to move the event again to another new venue in a different state with about 4 weeks to go, putting us in a spot where we had to spend about 4 weeks doing what we normally spend 7 months doing. So I'm not going to comment on that because I don't know what's going to happen next year, but I just want to get through this one and I'll just be happy and then I can take a vacation.
Yes, I think that's a very well-deserved vacation, Dan. First and foremost, I mean, we see ourselves as fans of the sport, fans of bodybuilding. We followed it for many years and we're now lucky enough to be in the heart of it. Are you unbelievably impressed by how some of the athletes have managed to just get to Florida? Like Kamal, he went via Turkey in September. He had 2 weeks. Ryan Terry's in Dubai. There's Mexico. Everyone's kind of just doing whatever they can to get to the Mr. Olympia, to the Olympia weekend. What's your feelings on that?
I'm so glad you asked that question, Giles, because people are so quick to send praise our way for putting this event on. And of course, we're proud to do that. And it's been hard. But I don't think the athletes get enough credit for not just figuring out ways to get here, but also the fact that they had, a lot of them started to prep for an event that was supposed to happen in September. And then we had to sort of, as that event got closer, we had to move it. Mm-hmm. So their prep has sort of, or at least their prep strategies have taken over a really large part of their year, far greater than a normal contest prep. And then a lot of them who had already sort of established West Coast plans and California and Nevada and all that to get ready for a Las Vegas event had to go ahead and turn a complete 180 with a couple weeks to go and redo all their plans and redo their flights and just a whole lot of extra work. And all the while get their training and nutrition in, stay on point, try to avoid the cortisol related components of the stress that was being put on them. We have athletes that right now are on airplanes from other parts of the world. And it's really a challenging thing for these athletes. So I hope the athletes, and I'm glad you brought that up because I hope they get the credit they deserve for doing their part to get to this event, because without the athletes, there's no Olympia and there's nothing to talk about. And they've really, the guys, the ladies, all of them in all divisions have gone through a lot to get to this point. So they deserve a ton of credit as well.
Earlier this year, we, even I think before COVID really kind of hit, you talked about how you really wanted to go above and beyond for the live stream. Given now with the situation we're in now, it's more crucial than it's ever been that is right. What's the update on that?
Yeah, so we're full go with the pay-per-view. That was a real priority for us because two reasons. One, we wanted to, in years past, we would do a free webcast and we would only cover the Friday night and Saturday night finals. You couldn't see the prejudging. You couldn't watch the press conference. There was a lot that we weren't able to show with the limitations that we had in that environment. This year, we upped the game a little bit. People who purchased a pay-per-view will be able to watch prejudging on Friday morning and Saturday morning, depending on what time zone you're in, whether it's morning or not. But here it's morning. And you'll be able to watch the finals on Friday evening and on Saturday evening. And then there's a whole weekend worth of coverage where we're going to have cameras and coverage on other parts of the weekend, including the press conference and other areas of Olympia weekend. We also have an amateur Olympia pay-per-view that's its own separate purchase. But if you're somebody who wants to see some of the top amateurs compete, I think we have close to 500 registered athletes already.
Wow.
And that's getting ready to start. When this airs, the Amateur Olympia will probably be going on already. So it's something that you can watch as well. Go to olympiaproductions.com and you can order the Amateur Olympia pay-per-view, or you can wait a little later in the week and you can order the big Olympia weekend pay-per-view. But we're really taking a lot. And the other part about this is, look, let's be honest. This year, we weren't able to sell, we didn't have the freedom to sell a lot of tickets because of the COVID limitations and constraints, rightfully so. So in an environment where we could normally sell, tens of thousands of tickets to various parts of the weekend, we couldn't do that this year. We couldn't sell the exhibitor booths that we normally do in a 400,000 square foot convention center where we're normally able to fill it up with a sea of exhibitors. This year, we have a small, we're calling a fan pavilion. It's a way to sort of provide a presence for some of our key sponsors and exhibitors. But there's a lot of limitations in terms of what we could do in the business of this year's Olympia. This is not going to be a year where there's going to be, profits to speak of, right? Given what we've had to deal with. So it was important for Jake to be able to award proper prize money. It was important for us to be able to create the kind of stage production that the Olympia has gotten known for. So with that in mind, the pay-per-view is an important part of the economics of what we're doing. And I know there's people out there that think $49.95 is cheap. There's some people out there that think it's expensive. We've heard both sides of it. But here's what we know. We have to maintain some sort of economic viability to this event. We have to be able to do the things that enable us to have some level of success in terms of being able to continue to do the things that we want to do for the biggest show in the world. So other sports have been putting on pay-per-view events for years, and they've been very well received, and we're hoping that the fans get behind it because it's not just about, figuring out ways to provide more content, which we're doing this year. It's about giving the fans an opportunity to support what we're doing. So we're hoping that people understand that it's important that we get support behind the pay-per-view, and we hope that people will order it because we want to continue to be able to do the things that we like to do for the athletes and for the fans, and the pay-per-view this year is an important part. I know that a lot of people, because they're so used to getting the webcast for free, have taken exception to it, and we understand that. We know it's a tough time right now for people to spend money, but we try to set a price that we thought made sense. And look, it's the biggest fitness bodybuilding championship in the world, and if you saw the resources that we're putting in to this production for the pay-per-view, for the stage, for all aspects of what we're doing, I think everyone would appreciate that it's something that we have to do, and we're hoping that people support it and watch the show.
Good. And also, it's a bit of a comeback year, not just in terms of certain competitors coming back to different divisions, but also the return of the Miss Olympia.
Yep. The Miss Olympia, people are talking about it. It's so great because, when the Miss Olympia was canceled 5 or 6 years ago, it kind of just came and went, and it wasn't really a big topic. But thanks to Jake and the Wings of Strength team and also our Olympia team this year, which is all now interconnected, we are very proud to bring back the Miss Olympia. The finals will be on Friday night. That's also part of the pay-per-view coverage. But more importantly than that, people are looking at it and people are talking about it and breaking it down. And there's an interest in women's bodybuilding. And a lot of it is fueled by what happened last weekend in Phoenix at the Rising Phoenix, a great event that Jake and Alex and his team put on. And then this weekend, we're going to roll that momentum right into the Miss Olympia. So women's bodybuilding and women's bodybuilding fans should be feeling really good about that. But yeah, you're right. It is the year of the comeback. Oksana Grishina, arguably the greatest fitness competitor of all time. I've always said the most talented IFBB pro athlete in any division.
Wow. Okay.
When you think about that,
yeah.
I would challenge anybody to find somebody who's walked on an IFBB pro stage in any division who can do the things that Oksana can do. She's a extraordinary talent, and she's coming back. And of course, everybody's excited to see Phil Heath come back this year. That's the big comeback everybody's looking at. I don't even know if we call that a comeback or not, but it's certainly an exciting storyline.
Let's call it a comeback.
Yeah.
Let's call it a comeback.
Yeah, we can call it a comeback or we can call it a return, but whatever we want to call it, we can call it one of the most highly anticipated Olympia lineups in years, because you have a situation where you have three men who have been crowned Mr. Olympia in their careers competing on the same stage, which I think has only happened twice before. So that's pretty special. And then Dexter Jackson competing for the final time, which is amazing.
51.
And I think the storyline that really deserves a lot of love and attention is Brandon and Brandon's desire to come back and prove that he can be better. Brandon has spent the whole year hearing people call him a bad Mr. Olympia champion, or hearing people question his credentials to hold such a title. But he's watched that, and he took that attitude to his prep, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings. There's a lot to look forward to this weekend.
Two quick final questions, because I know your time's very, very precious right now. What's your message for the fans that are looking to just attend the Olympia this year?
My message is, if you're planning to attend the year, first of all, understand that it's important that you wear the face masks. It is, and it's required in the venue, and we hope that you show up and you understand that. We're trying to create an environment that's respectful of the situation that we're in. If that's something that you're uncomfortable with, we would prefer that you didn't show up, to be honest with you. We want people to come and understand that we are trying to do things the right way. But my message to the fans, even more importantly than that, is that this year's Olympia, it's about far more than standout trophies. It's about far more than beautiful stage production, and all those things are going to happen. It's about a real celebration of resilience and showing that this community can rise up and come back in a fashion that I think we can all be very proud of. And I know that I've already started to see some people trickle into the hotel, and you can tell there's a real good, positive spirit going around. And I just hope people sort of come to the event, whether you watch it on pay-per-view and you have friends over to do that, or you actually physically make the trip to Orlando and you're attending the event. Just don't lose sight of what you're a part of in terms of this community and its resilience and its resolve to come together and to create something that really speaks to how passionate we all are for what we do. And don't allow the details, and don't allow, who finishes third or who finishes fifth. And we understand everybody's fans and everybody gets excited, but don't lose sight of what you're a part of and how hard a lot of people have worked, from the athletes to the owner, to the production team, to the fans, to the judges, to what has happened to Jim Mannion and his team, to Frank Seppi over at the NPC News, to Tyler and the whole crew. Everybody has dug in deep to make sure that this could happen in the most appropriate way possible. And I just hope that doesn't get lost on those who decide to experience the Olympia on pay-per-view or come to the event.
Completely agree. I think we need to start hashtagging resilience for next to the Olympia. Or I think that's the ethos of the whole year. And I mean, a real testament to you and your team. I mean, I've kept a close eye, and it's amazing that what you guys have had to go through to get to this point. So Dan Solomon, thank you so much for joining us for the Pro League Hype Show. We really appreciate it. And I think, I think you really do deserve a holiday after this one.
Well, I think I do. I think a lot of people do. I think, you know what? And I just want to close with this. We get it. We know that people around the world are in a really challenging time right now in all walks of life, in all careers. People are grinding right now. People are really digging in. And I don't want to suggest that what we're doing is uniquely important. It's not uniquely challenging. There are people out there are healthcare workers. There are people out there that are doing things that are far more important in the world. We're proud to do this, to provide a little bit of an outlet, to provide some, opportunities for different corners of our industry. But I just want I want everybody to know out there that we spend a lot of time thinking about everyone's challenges. And I know people are always quick to say, Dan, you deserve a vacation, but there's people out there that are doing far more important things than I'm doing, and that are impacting lives in far more profound ways. So I just hope when this is all over and we all get through the holidays, we can all start to enjoy some time, because Lord knows I think everyone deserves it for sure. 100%.
And where can we head to find details for the pay-per-view?
So go to olympiaproductions.com. That has all the pay-per-view information. Go to mr.olympia.com, as always, for all the schedule and the other details. And I'm going to try to do some more with I don't do a lot with my own Instagram, but you can hit me up on Instagram if you want to kind of keep up. I'm going to try to do some updating there as well. But all the Mr. Olympia social media, and of course, Giles, I know you're always going to do your part to make sure everybody's informed. And we're appreciative of all the support.
Dan Solomon, thank you so much for joining us on the Pro League Hype Show.